I really liked just the spirit I felt here, and the campus was super friendly. I came here and did a tour, and the tour guide was super friendly, and just everyone on campus, the feeling of it was very peaceful and open. So definitely that.
My first choice was BYU, but I didn't get in, and so um, I then started looking into BYU-Idaho, and I saw how cheap the tuition was. It's extremely cheap, and so that encouraged me. And I also have had a few siblings that went to BYU-Idaho, and so they related their experiences to me, and that was very encouraging. And so I decided to go, and I'm glad I did because it was a phenomenal experience, the good and the bad.
My father taught here at Ricks College, so Ricks College has always had a dear place in my heart, and I felt the spirit of Ricks even then became a student, and really my ultimate goal as far as career would one day be teaching here, which I didn't think it would be BYU-Idaho. I thought it would still be Ricks College, and it was just a wonderful place to be a student, wonderful place to be a child, and still a wonderful place to be with the spirit here, where we can integrate the gospel into our class lectures, have the testimony of the students shine through as well. It's just a wonderful place to work.
I was actually a missionary when I applied for BYU-Idaho. I had a companion who would just rave about it. She was like, "This is the best place ever. I love it. I love all the roommates. It's great." And so I decided to apply, and it ended up being a really big blessing. But it was definitely, I think, Heavenly Father working in my life and intervening.
I was a student here a long time ago, back in the early '90s. I enjoyed my time here as a student. I enjoyed this area of the country. I liked living here, and I knew that teaching here would allow me to have access to great facilities to do the kind of work that I wanted to do, great facilities and great technology. And that's important in the world of theater, having access to great facilities and equipment and technology to do what I like to do. And I knew that the quality of the student would be high. So all of those things contributed to my wanting to be here and to teach.
It's good education for a good price. I kind of wanted to get away from home. I feel like a lot of kids do. And I don't know, something just, ever since I was little, that was always the plan in my family, was for me to go to BYU. It's always been the plan.
Before my first semester, I heard about the great nursing program that they have here, and I was very interested in entering the nursing field, and I was intrigued about the environment, and it just overall had great reviews and seemed like the perfect environment for me.
Well, my husband actually was working here, and I have been a part of the music department for many years, just accompanying. They would just call me because of my piano skill. And I've always wanted to be on this beautiful campus because we've lived here for many years, and I thought it was a great place to work.
I've heard that you can feel the spirit a lot in your courses, basically anywhere you go on campus, as apart from in churches or the temple?
I heard that it's a really like a smaller campus, but I do like that it feels more homely, and everyone here is really friendly and really nice. So that's what I had heard before, and just that, like, I don't know, that the classes were really fun as well.
I've heard that the professors are very personable and they want you to succeed. And I've also heard that it's super beautiful up in Idaho, but really cold. And I've heard that this is a Christ-centered school.
That was inexpensive. And I don't know. Again, like the environment and having the same values and everything. It's a church-based school, so.
I hadn't heard a ton. I'd heard about BYU, of course, but I knew that my sister loved going there. I knew that it snowed there, which it doesn't do in Arizona, so that was kind of cool. I knew that it would have high standards and that it would help me be a better person.
I've heard everyone who went there liked it a lot, and that it's very social, like more social than BYU Provo and BYU Hawaii. And that, yeah, mostly just that people like it, whoever comes here.
I heard a lot about it being called BYU-Idaho, which wasn't really what got me here, but what I really heard about was how much the professors care about their students and the smaller class sizes and the great programs that they do have, and the facilities that they offer. It seemed like a great place to be.
Before attending, I had heard that it was kind of like I'd heard the whole like BYU-Idaho, that like people get married really fast, and that, you know, it's like a church school. It's kind of like BYU Provo, and so yeah, I don't know. I don't feel like I had heard a lot.
So my major used to be history or music education, but I just didn't really like it, and so I just thought, like, well, what else do I really like? And I've always been really fond of history, and just like because of the recent events that have been going on this year, I just thought it's so important to know my history and be educated in it, and I want others to be educated as well. So that's why I chose history.
Well, I mean, just like I think for the same reasons that young people come and do this course. Like when I was 16, I was always into kind of like movies and cartoons and comics and stuff like that, and so I enjoyed visual representations of stories, and so I always thought that was really cool. And I went to college, which is where you go before you go to university in the UK. You do 2 years of college, then 3 years of university. So you do that when you're 16, yeah? And so I left school when I was 16, and then I worked for a year just to save some money. So I worked for a year in a factory, and that was super boring, but it paid the bills, and it got me some money coming in. Taught me the value of hard work, taught me that I don't want to work in a factory all my life, that it was cool when I was a young person, but that was not what what I wanted my career to look like. And so I went to college in Sutton Coldfield in Birmingham, in the middle of the UK there, and I did like a pre-university qualification. So you leave school in the UK at 16, whereas it's 18 here. But this is really what your high school diploma looks like. Between 16 and 18, you'll do some kind of qualification that will enable you to go to university. And so I did that in media. Yeah, I did a British National Diploma, it was called, in media. And I really liked it, yeah, in media production. So a little bit of radio, a little bit of animation, a little bit of tiny bit of web, because the web wasn't that big, but lots of video production. And these are like with big video cameras, like kind of big, huge things that go on your shoulder. And learning to light things with big hot lamps and things like that. And it was just great experience. And so I built on that, went on a mission, came back to the UK after being in Ireland for 2 years, then went to university and just couldn't wait to get stuck into telling stories, learning how to be a better producer technically and that kind of thing. So I've always been into visual communication. I think it's great, I think it's interesting, I think it's really kind of I just think it's neat the way that human beings communicate visually with each other, whether that's body language, whether that's the words that we use that kind of evoke pictures in our minds with the stories that we tell. But I thought, wouldn't it be cool to be able to create those pictures myself, or to tell those stories myself, to be able to communicate with other people.
On my mission, I learned that so many people had their own unique stories to tell, and they came from so many different places. And so when I got back from my mission, I had been a music major, but I started looking around for something different, and I really like to write. I'm a communications major, so I really like to write, and I really love people's unique stories, so it just fit.
So I actually was gonna go into social work with emphasis on psychology so I could become a therapist, but I'm actually changing my major because I realized that that's just not exactly everything I thought it was gonna be. So I'm changing to horticulture. So, and I chose horticulture because I really love plants. I love studying plants. I love taking care of them. You see how many plants I have in our room, so yeah.
I changed my major like a ton of times. And I actually left BYU-Idaho for a long time and was a nanny on the East Coast. And I realized one day that my life was going nowhere and that I needed to go back to school. And people had told me that I should do accounting, and I didn't want to do that because that was too hard. But I love math, I love numbers. And so I decided that I would take one online class from BYU-Idaho, the first accounting class. And if I did well, if I liked it, I would go back to campus and I would take another semester in accounting. And so I took that class. I liked it. It wasn't too bad. And so I went back, and ultimately, like, just the teachers, like all the business and accounting teachers, I don't know, they love what they do and they're good at it. And yeah, I think mostly my love for numbers and adding and counting. I don't know.
So my major is psychology, and I'm not sure exactly what I want to do with it, but I do know I want to help people. If it's counseling or working at women's prisons, just growing up and seeing so many people go through different things has inspired me to want them. I just want everyone to find joy in their life, and I know that joy can be found in Christ. And so I want to do something that helps other people find joy, because I found so much joy in knowing that Jesus Christ lives.
My major. So I actually switched it for this semester, and I'm into psychology right now. And what inspired me to go into psychology is that I've always really had a knack for listening to others and wanting to help people, which kind of made me go into the medical field and look into that option. But a psychologist, how I like to look at it, is it's kind of like talking to a best friend. And so if I can be a friend for someone who needs it, I would love to do that for a profession.
So I'm studying exercise physiology because I want to become a physical therapist, and I just always like math. I don't know why, math and studying like human anatomy. So that's really exciting. It's a little bit challenging at times, but I really like studying for that.
Students, definitely the students. It's just the friendships and the relationships and the teaching moments, what the students bring, their goodness. That's really one of my favorite things. Yeah.
I think the gardens are beautiful. I love walking through the gardens, and the orchard is so beautiful. I loved going and studying in the eye center. It always made me so happy because it was so peaceful and quiet there, and like going up to the second level and just finding a place to sit by myself. Something I really love about that campus is that there are always places to just sit and feel the spirit and have quiet and peace in your life.
I would have to say the learning model. It really is inspired, and it really helps those who, normally like struggle with getting like a higher education. It helps them really develop and learn through a process that, makes things understandable and relatable.
This might sound a little funny, but I absolutely love the bells on Tuesday morning. They're probably one of the highlights of my week, is just hearing the hymn spiel out over the campus. And I think that's really cool. I also love how much Christ is in every class, every aspect, all the time.
I would say the wonderful opportunities that it allows me to collaborate closely with my colleagues and with the students, the hands-on opportunities and practical application opportunities that allows me to work with my students outside of classes. In the theater department, obviously we're always producing work and creating productions and producing stage work, and so the opportunity to work hands-on with the students and collaborate with them is probably the most satisfying part of the work that I do here.
I think the camaraderie. I think like being able to just like go up to anyone and be friends with them and have them have the same values as you pretty much, and know what you stand for. I think that's probably the best part, because you don't have to stress about social situations as much. I mean, obviously with any friendships and relationships you're going to have problems, but just having those same values in place just makes it 10 times easier to understand people and to be understood.
I really liked the intramurals and the sports that you could do, that anybody could play a sport and be on a team and play that. I did that for a couple years. I played volleyball, and I really liked how the students would do IBC, is what it's called, and you could go to their different pop-up stores that they would have every semester. I thought that was fun. I liked that it's a smaller campus and you could get to know people, or people had time to talk. I don't know. It was just like a community.
I love my friends. I met a lot of awesome friends I hang out with every day. I do something every day, but I also make sure I have my assignments done, which is really important. My sister's close. One of my siblings just lives right down the road at the Eden, so I hang out with them a lot. There's a lot of accommodations BYU makes. They're not just throwing you out to the wolves if you need help. They have a lot of free options for help. And there's just a lot of good stuff out here. It's fun.
I think my favorite part is the fact that it's small and personable. I need a learning environment where I could be close to my teachers, and that I could be really interactive in class. That's the way I learn. And so this school just provides the perfect environment for me to do that. I can know my teachers can know me, and I can ask several questions, and I can ask clarifying questions, and more than a lecture, it can be more a conversation between the teacher and I guess the class. But
I think my favorite part of BYU-Idaho is the atmosphere that it provides. You pretty much everywhere you go on campus, it's a positive place to be. There's not really somewhere you go and you just feel horrible being there. Whereas you can feel that some places just in life, but it's just always positive. There's always the spirit, always good people around. And that's absolutely one of my favorite things about BYU-Idaho. I had the opportunity to be a student employee as well, and that always brought me joy because I got to participate in BYU-Idaho's purpose and their mission, and it just gives you it provided me with the reason behind everything that they do, and that was encouraging to me to always move forward with my education.
My favorite moments are seeing the students excel, seeing their excitement that they can do this new skill that they're learning, seeing their abilities improve, and watching them move on and go forward.
Something that's always been really fun with roommates has just been like, eating dinner together or just spending time together, like having movie nights. That's something that's really fun to do as roommates. And then also like in the classroom, getting to know peers and like discussing stuff in class and outside of class and studying together. I really like that BYU-Idaho has the tutoring program where students have the opportunity to learn from like fellow students who just took the class like a year or so ago. And I think it really builds a community of collaboration and learning and growth all together. And I think it really unites the campus.
So, I guess I've always like enjoyed the activities that campus puts on because they really do promote trying to get out there and to push yourself to try something new. And so I always loved when our ward would do like roller skating activities because that was something that was like, kind of troublesome for me. I couldn't really roller skate a lot, and so that was really fun. I also love all the parties and all the activities that they have to really, promote students to come out and get out of their apartments. So that was something really fun that I've always enjoyed.
There was one moment I was having a hard day and I was at church and I felt a prompting right after church to walk to the temple and say a prayer. And I've seen so many blessings from doing that, and I'm very grateful that we have a temple so close. Even though we can't go in right now because of COVID, I've seen lots of blessings from being able to worship Christ and Heavenly Father from the grounds.
Like one memory of walking with my roommate, it was freezing cold because it's BYU-Idaho. It was probably like January or February, so like we're dying and we're walking across campus going to work, and like as we're going we're just pointing out different places on campus and like saying, oh, this happened there, or oh man, one time I was right there and this happened. And it was kind of fun to just like walk across campus and to just like remember different memories of things that had happened over the years in those different places.
The MC always has great opportunities and trying to think of other things. I don't know, just hanging out with friends in the courtyards and stuff, social distancing, of course, because COVID, but there's a lot of opportunities on campus to have fun and be safe as well. So.
Well, the first night, I think my roommates and I went to I-Night, and that was really fun. We just went around to all the activities, and we met some people, and we just had a lot of fun just with the activities and everything that they provided for us.
Definitely, I loved the spring semester. The spring in Idaho is beautiful. It gets so much crap for being so ugly, but that's because most people are there during the winter, and I guess it has its charms during the winter time too. But hiking and stuff and around the Rexburg area is so beautiful, and the Tetons are right there, and they're beautiful.
I'm loving fall so far. Like the colors are the fall colors are nice. The weather's perfect. It's not too cold yet. It's better than winter. The winter's really cold. Like it's fun, but it's a little too cold.
I really like spring. This past year was my first spring semester, and it was kind of a lot of fun. But fall's I've always been here for fall, and so I do like fall a lot. You get Halloween, you got Thanksgiving and Christmas. You get a lot of things in fall semester, and I love it.
My track is fall winter, so I'm here for all the snow. I'm not used to snow coming from Texas, so it's definitely foreign for me to see the snow, drive in it and all that, but I'm enjoying it so far, but it is really cold. So.
I was on summer fall, and that was the best. I love the summer in Idaho. I love that you can go hiking or just like be outdoors all the time, and it's just so beautiful.
I really like the fall, I think, just because it's really nice outside. The weather's really nice and it's just really pretty. You can go out and do stuff, play games at the park and stuff like that. I've never been there during the spring though, so I'm not sure. But I have been there during the winter and it's really cold. So I know I like fall a little better than that.
My track is winter, spring. I don't like being here in the winter, actually. I don't like the cold or the snow. I think my favorite time to be here is probably in the spring. It's a lot less busy. It's nice and warm, and it's just calmer down here, and there's a lot more things you can do.
So I have the fall winter track, and I think my favorite definitely has to be fall, because when you get here it's still warm, the leaves are changing, the Rick's Gardens is super duper pretty, but then you still get a little bit of snow at the end, so I like the fall.
I think it might be fall semester because the most students are on campus, the leaves are falling, there are some more classes, and then also there isn't I feel like sometimes in this spring semester there's pressure to go hiking and hang out with people on the weekends, but I always need to study on the weekends. And then also I like having general conference during fall semester, because then you can just talk about that in your class and watch it with your roommates, and that's really fun. And I don't know, generally I really like Halloween and Thanksgiving, and so I would say fall's my favorite.
My track is fall winter, and so this will be my last semester, not last semester, but it'll be my last time attending the fall semester at BYU-Idaho. So yeah, I really like these months too. They're nice and it's beautiful here.
Favorite class? I really liked my ballroom classes.
Chinese.
I think my favorite classes have been the classes that I get to work with the children. I get to work with the children, so toddler lab, preschool lab, practicums. I also got to do choir one semester, and I really enjoyed that because I got to go sing and stuff.
I really like my writing and reasoning class and my public speaking class. They both have great teachers, and I feel like the content is stuff I like to do. I really like all my classes, but those two are just the ones that stick out.
One of my favorite classes was probably one of my hardest classes, which was called Assessments, which is a special education class where we talked about how to assess a student for special education and how to qualify them in all different realms that lead to special education for a student. And then we would perform the tests on each other just to get a feel for what it was like. And it was just a lot of fun to be more hands-on.
On an education level, just be ready for the coursework, which is heavy, but it's manageable. And on a spiritual level, just it's exactly as advertised. You feel the spirit in all your courses.
I would say get involved. Definitely get involved.
Standards and the rules that BYU-Idaho has are for your benefit. However, that doesn't mean that you should beat yourself up because you didn't meet a certain standard one day.
I would say get your FAFSA done early because FAFSA was a pain in the butt. But I don't know, just be super open to everything, be super open to people, try to talk to people, be open to go anywhere new that you might be uncomfortable with at first, because if you just push yourself to do things, then you won't regret it and you'll have more memories to go back and look on.
I think take fewer credits, really feel comfortable with where your classes are, with what your classes are doing. It's a whole new animal to be able to be on your own, to be studying and learning for yourself rather than being told what to do, and also to enjoy.
I'd recommend for them to come. I'd recommend for them to work hard and to be open to all of that Rexburg and BYU-Idaho has to offer, because it's way more than I thought.
The advice I would give is find something that you enjoy a lot and do it. And don't be afraid to go out by yourself. You know, if your roommates don't want to go, that's okay. Go by yourself. You'll meet people there, and then you can go with them the next time.
I think for new and upcoming students, it's always to be safe, but to put yourself out there. You can always stay home and do your homework, but you should take the opportunities you have to do more and just grow as a person and make friends.
I think I would recommend to get involved. There are so many activities here and so many fun things that are going on.
You're gonna have a lot of fun if you meet a lot of awesome friends. It's gonna be awesome, but stay caught up on your work.
I would say be excited and just get involved and get to know lots of people, because you will be amazed at how great everyone is, and it's fun to try new things. Don't be afraid of it.
Get involved, find opportunities to do the work. And if that means you creating the work yourself, then create the work. And get outside of your comfort zone and meet new people and meet the people in the department, make yourself known, and not just sort of wait for the opportunities to come to you, I think.
Advice for students who are looking to, maybe are interested in getting into the video emphasis within the communication department, is think about where you'd like to go. Think about which area you'd like to, maybe that you already have an affinity for, whether it's camera work or editing. But do appreciate that you're going to have a pretty broad, pretty general, well-rounded, I'd say, opportunity to get good at all of the different departments of video production. So be open. Don't just come here saying I want to be a cinematographer and curl your nose up at the editing responsibilities that you might have. A good cinematographer needs to understand editing because she's shooting to edit.
I would recommend having an open heart, an open mind to this campus and the people here.
I would say at BYU-Idaho, you have a great opportunity to immerse yourself in learning and in like having a social life and having friends and being in the church. And I would just say make sure you're balancing your time between all of those things, whether it's classes, social life, or personal health and like church attendance. Just kind of make sure they're all balanced and that balance works for you, and that you're not letting other people impose on what works for you. But also keep in mind that as you serve others, you'll be able to learn and grow.
Well, one, make friends with your roommates, get to know them, but also go out and do things, because you will not have as much fun if you're sitting at home in your apartment. So go out, make friends, get to know people, and try to do stuff.
Just like get involved in any way you can.
So I think that one thing that we should all know is to plan our schedules accordingly. So for example, if you're not a morning person that gets up at 6 every day, I would suggest planning your classes perhaps in the afternoon or maybe afternoon, and also just of course don't take really heavy classes at first, because if you take really heavy classes, you might not do so well in them, since they do require a lot of studying and it requires a lot.
It's a once in a lifetime opportunity to be in a place where people have the same standards as you, or should have the same standards as you. And it's a once in a lifetime opportunity to just have roommates and be silly and just go to school activities and talk to the person sitting next to you in class and just get to know people, because there's people from all around the world there, and like just enjoy it. You're never going to be in a situation like this again, and that's okay too, but just enjoy where you're at right now.
To take it one day at a time.
Develop your good study skills early. Procrastination was a weakness for me, and it still a little bit is.
One, you can learn from any class you were in. And two, I think it's required now that they take that college study skills class. I think it might be required, but to realize that class is such a benefit to their success, to help them organize their time and to balance out their class load each semester. So they've got a variety, so they don't just load up to their major or load up to their required classes, that they take a variety of that and really learn to balance their time, but also put the Lord first in their lives, and knowing that by doing that, everything else, it's not going to be perfect, but it's going to fall into place, and that there will be enough time for the needful things in their daily lives.
I would say, do the things that you need to do to be successful in college. That's the reason you're coming here. But while you're doing that, is to have fun.
I think I would advise them to put God in first place in their lives. And that is because if we put God in first place in our lives, all the other things work in our favor. It all comes together. But if we don't put God in first place, it's going to be hard to put Him in our lives at all. And we will miss out on the blessings that Heavenly Father wants to give us, which are many, 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 many. And so if you want to have the best university experience of your life, I think put God in first place. And doing this here in BYU-Idaho should be a little bit easier than in other places.
Probably just to know your workload. I kind of took too many classes for my first semester, so I would say maybe take it easy your first semester while you're still figuring out how to do college, because it's a lot different from high school than you might think. And so I would just say learn to maybe take it easy while you're figuring out how much you can do.
So the advice I would give to new students would be to make sure you push yourself and don't just stay in your apartment. I think the number one thing for you to improve and progress is to really push yourself to do things that you would normally do. And that way you can really get a lot out of the school and a lot out of your experience at BYU-Idaho.